This episode of Mysteries to Die For is proudly sponsored by BayvilleBeacon.com. Hey neighbor, are you tired of all the computer-generated slop and fake news clogging up your timeline? Here at BayvilleBeacon.com, we can't even spell AI. At BayvilleBeacon.com, we're real people, keeping real tabs on your community. We're watching your neighbors so you don't have to. Be sure to use promo code M2D4 at checkout. That's BayvilleBeacon.com. Welcome to Mysteries to Die For.
What was that?
What was what?
We're not sponsored. What was that? You
Our-
didn't warn me about that.
Our author today, Robert J. Binney, when I asked what he would like in his pre-roll, that is what he sent. And if you follow the BayvilleBeacon.com, it will go to his website.
Okay. I was like, where did you get this? Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, go check that out.
I am TG Wolff, and I'm here with Jack, my piano player and stunt producer. This is a podcast where we combine storytelling with original music to put you at the heart of a mystery. All stories are structured to challenge you to beat the detectives to the solution. Jack and I perform these live, front to back, no breaks, no fakes, no retakes. Hey, our social media is alive and kicking. Check out our Instagram at Mysteries to Die For, that's all spelled out, and on Facebook at M2D4 Podcast for the pulse on the show's happenings. And explore our website, m2d4podcast.com, for all of our episodes and links to our authors. The rules for law and order create the boundaries for civil coexistence and, ideally, the backdrops for individuals, families, and companies to grow and thrive. Breaking these rules puts civil order at risk, and while murder is the big daddy of crimes, codified ordinances across municipal divisions, counties, states, and countries show the nearly endless ways there are to create mayhem. This season, we put our detective skills to the test with murderless crimes. This is Season 8, Anything But Murder. In today's episode, cyberbullying is the featured crime. This is Toxic by Robert J. Binney.
Yay. Now JD's and Lettleman. I bet you're wondering, is Jack's mic on? It is. It is. After checking, Jack's mic is on. Now that we've confirmed that, what kind of piano are we using today? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're using Amp EP2. And we're going to be doing some
Doesn't
nice
that scream
jazzy
cyberbullying
chords.
to you?
Oh, yeah. Nothing says cyberbullying like smooth jazz. Because who gets bullied more?
You just cracked yourself up.
I know. Every time I hit a chord, I have to look at my hand to see what the next chord is because I wrote it on my hand.
He did write the chords on his hand.
Oh, that was too amazing. That was too good. I set myself up. That was a great joke.
That was a great joke.
It was great. Okay.
So we're really happy to present Toxic because it features one of our favorite detectives, Henri Beauchamp. So for those of you who are not reading our script, it is pretty much spelled, his name is spelled Henry Beauchamp, but we're saying it in French because that's the way Henri likes it. You ready to start?
My bad. I'm still reading chords off my hands. Yes, I am ready. Let's get into it.
One more time. In the 6 months I've been running the force, criminal activity has dropped by 32%. The biggest crime in town is those bangs, thought Henri Beauchamp. He thought it, but didn't say it. Discretion and valor and all of that. Henri Beauchamp, he pronounced it the French way. Henri Beauchamp. He smiled in the mirror at Police Chief Verity Bendix and pumped the foot switch to lower her salon chair. Henri was no midget, but he sure wouldn't take the chief on in basketball. Even if he was as tall as his clients, who wants to sweat? He would rather engage in his favorite sport, dishing dirt. "What about Principal Tibbins?" he asked. "I heard." "Let me stop you right there, Henri. You know I can't speak about an open case." He pinched the sections of her hair between two fingers and to figure out where to begin. Chief Bendix had been a regular since moving to Bayville last summer, and it still looked like she was getting tuned up in the barracks with the wall electric razor his grandfather welcomed Marine recruits with. Henri leaned in, darting his eyes conspiratorially, a comically grand gesture since the receptionist was far out of earshot, and Stage whispered, "So there is an open case on the principal." She seemed to enjoy this game too. She told him, "Traffic violations don't go into crime stats." Henri mimed chugging from a bottle. The chief giggled. "It's the first time I've impounded a riding mower. If Santa Claus finds out, he's on the naughty list for sure." "Forget Santa," Henri beamed, "if the beacon finds out." Chief Bendix's knuckles whitened around her teacup. "That beacon can kiss my—" She pursed her lips and raised her eyebrows. Henri would frown on such salty language in this sacred space. The front door jingled open. Henri had no more appointments that evening, so it had to be a social call. Sure enough, faster than you can pluck an eyebrow, Hope Clemente flopped into the chair next to the chief's. "What are we talking about?" Henri said. "Your favorite blog." Hope turned to Chief Bendix. "Why won't you arrest whoever's putting out that trash?" "Pesky thing, that First Amendment, Dr. Clemente," the chief said. "Besides, we don't even know who's behind the whole deal." Hope said, "I asked Henri here to look into it." Henri interrupted. "I told you that my investigation days are over." The, quote, whole deal was the new Bayville Beacon website. A few years back, the Bulletin printed its final issue, which meant no one had been keeping eyes on the town council or advertising prime rib specials. If you didn't have a seat at the mayor's Friday poker game or a chair at Henri's salon, you didn't know the score. Suddenly this summer, BayvilleBeacon.com launched. Initially, it was just basic social media, locals trading recipes and handyman recommendations, but with a newsy element. Then, things took a turn. Instead of recapping the Barnstormer season opener, the Beacon detailed the varsity quarterback's hot date with the captain of the girls' soccer team, which came as a surprise to his longtime steady, the beloved homecoming queen. Whether the story was true or not, it became a true scandal. Almost everyone in town took sides. For the first time ever, people showed up at girls' athletic events, but only to shout obscenities at the poor teen accused of breaking up the town sweethearts. The fury dissipated as quickly as it exploded, replaced a week later with another shocker. The Beacon accused greengrocer Max Youngkin of reselling produce he bought wholesale past its expiration date. Never mind that no one claimed to have a problem with his selection before. Townsfolk boycotted him, and he even stopped coming to poker night, which, truth be told, was better for Henri's wallet. "Max tried hiring me as well. I told him the same thing I told you," Henri repeated. Hope sounded frustrated. "Last week, they said that Stan was a vampire." Henri smirked. Couples counselor Stan Keagle's office was right next door to the salon. "The walls are thin, and I have heard things." Hope looked like she was about to cry. "Do you know how many cancellations I've had?" If it takes 3 points to make a trend, the Beacon's third so-called expose established it as a force of evil. Halloween weekend, the website posted, "Lying through her teeth," a damning piece that accused Hope of cheating her way through dental school and faking her credentials. It had been rough on her. After years at the largest dental complex over in the big city, Hope had just moved to Bayville and opened her own practice. She was building clientele when the article posted, complete with the tease for its follow-up. grainy photos of Hope behind a barbed wire fence of the state penitentiary. "But you recovered," Henri said, "and you're stronger every day." "Thanks to you, mon ami." Henri didn't want to admit it, but yeah, he helped. A hairstylist's greatest asset isn't his steady clipping hand or keen fashion sense, but his knowledge of everything happening around him, everywhere, and all at once. Perhaps the most repeated phrase in his repertoire is, "Your secret's safe with me." That wasn't just a punchline. Henri meant it. But those secrets that weren't his clients? Oh, honey, step right up. "Do you want to know what I heard?" is probably the second most repeated phrase in a salon. The preeminent authority in any town, or on any subject, isn't the newspaper editor, the librarian, or even the mayor. It's the hairdresser. So when Henri told his clients that he knew, from first-hand experience, how hard Hope worked in the dental school and that he personally attended her graduation, they gave her a second chance. "It wasn't me," Henri protested. If it weren't for false modesty, he'd have none at all. "You were an inspiration. How you rebuilt. They tried to knock you down, but you got back up again." The chief turned to Hope. Luckily, Henri anticipated the move and had already adjusted his cutting angle. "I can't say we'll launch an investigation, but I can ask around." She looked to Henri. "Given your side hustle, I'm surprised you haven't jumped in." Henri dusted off her shoulders and unsnapped her cape. "I may be licensed by the state, but that doesn't mean I should traipse in where I don't belong." Who was he kidding? Henri was at his best traipsing where others feared to tread. "I just don't see why I should get involved." Henri walked his guest to the counter. Chief Bendix signed her paperwork while Hope dumped the dish of complimentary hard candies into the trash. Everyone's phones pinged simultaneously. Hope read her screen and blanched. "Oh, Henri." Henri grabbed his phone from the counter and opened the news alert. The latest beacon had dropped. While everyone read along, he stammered, "I never claimed I was from... Wait, she wanted it that color. I would never call someone... Oh yeah, that does sound like something I'd say. Hold on, that's why everyone signs waivers." He looked first at Hope, then at his colleague. "Yes, colleague. It just became personal, Chief. I'm taking over the case."
This is a crime. This is slander.
I love Henri.
Wait.
Oh yeah, that does sound like something I'd say.
Wait, hold on.
Okay, hold on.
Slander is spoken. Libel is written. This is libel.
This is libel?
I had to remember the law. Right?
I don't know.
It's either slander or libel.
We haven't had any rewrite
spoken.
about slander or libel, so I have not researched them. I don't know.
This is libel. Well, if you write and publish something that is factually false, not opinion, but factually false, such as this person cheated their way through dental school, and you do that without any proof, plus you made up fake pictures, clearly this person didn't go to prison. That's libel.
Okay.
It is an offensible crime, and you can go to media law. You can go to my college media law class, level 100, that I did 4 years ago. Yeah, they'll teach you about that. My man Terry, he'll teach you about it. He's great. I love Terry. My favorite professor. I'm going to shut up now.
There's just a thing or two I'd like you to know. Henri wasn't sure where to begin, so he decided to go back to the beginning and read the Beacon's archives to look for patterns. He was picking at kale salad and making notes when Hope Clementi slid into his booth at Sal's Pizza. "Cracked the case yet?" "Oh, Hope, I had no idea being targeted felt like this. No wonder you were heartsick. If only I'd known." She reminded him, "I did ask you to investigate." Henri nodded. "I thought you were just humoring me." "Henri Beauchamp, in all of our years as besties, have I ever humored you?" The waiter delivered a large platter of steak fries to Hope, deliberately avoiding eye contact with Henri. After he walked away, Hope continued, "This town can be a bunch of bullies." Henri agreed. Do you know that poor girl had to quit the soccer team? She was hoping for a scholarship to state. Hope offered Henri some fries. I really shouldn't, Henri said, helping himself. Hope waggled her fingers over a salad. Healthier for you than that. Henri looked surprised. She explained, leafy greens get stuck between your bicuspids and putrefy, a silent killer. Henri took a semester of dietary science lab in order to speak with the authority on whatever fads passed through the salon, but he never heard that. They threw tomatoes at Max's windows, he told her. At least he made money off his misery, Hope said. Henri shook his head. Bought him at the beef barn. I didn't like shopping at Max's, Hope admitted. Never could figure out why some people got free bananas and I didn't. It's got something to do with cut fruit, he said, mouthful. He'd forgotten how carb-heavy detecting was. Sorry, guys, a little tickle in my throat. What did it say about the mayor? Hope asked. That he cheats at cards. Well, he does, Henri. I've only played that one time, but Henri held up his hand. Of course he cheats at cards. Everyone knows that. It's so bad at it that we don't even say anything. House rules. Didn't it also say that he went woke? I thought you hadn't read it, Henri said. But yeah, it said he wanted to ban Christmas. Look around, he gestured out the windows. It's not even Thanksgiving, and it already looks like Mrs. Claus is holding a garage sale in the town gazebo. So what's next, Detective? Henri stood. Next, I have a dental appointment. Hope looked at her watch, confused. Amish Ashford. Henri's mouth was full of equipment, a water hose, a tiny vacuum, a hydraulic brush. But that didn't stop him from trying to chit-chat. It also didn't stop his dentist from understanding exactly what he was saying. You missed the spit sink? Silas Samuelson, DDS, adjusted the overhead lamp and leaned in with his pick. Those things are so unsanitary. Iowa, kazoo isha isha usha. Dr. Samuelson tut-tutted. The tube is not disgusting. What's disgusting is all this impacted kale. Serious jungle rot in here. Besides, I need to make room for the trophy case. Ya go ish ya go ego? Ha, no, my golf game is certainly not going good. I need a new partner. In fact, if you're... The look of terror in Henri's eyes rivaled anything the dentist will ever see, even during the worst root canal. No, my daughter, Stacy, is finally stepping up to her athletic potential. The only sporting events Henri trained for was the doorbuster dash at the upcoming Black Friday sales. After some silent but spirited tugging at tartar and plaque, Dr. Samuelson spoke again. I'm glad you're here. I know you're good friends with Dr. Clementi, and when you didn't show up for your appointment yesterday, I thought the worst. Henri's eyes bulged and panicked. Ego! You called? To rescheduled? Who did you speak with? Iowa. That was a white lie. Henri did know who he spoke to. He just didn't want to get the doc's daughter in trouble. Dr. Samuelson patted Henri's shoulder. He recognized the move. There are 4 calming acupressure points along the trapezius, and hairstylists and dentists both learn how to manipulate them. Henri and Hope took that class together, in fact. Henri stood at the receptionist's desk, scrolling through his missed calls. 3 from Hope, and 2 texts, both just, quote, checking in on his investigation. Right, Henri thought, just checking in on my appointment with another dentist. Susan Samuelson, the dentist's wife, banged the side of her computer. I didn't think that would work. Silas keeps changing the passwords. I swear, you men and your computers. Henri's passwords were all password. He said, I feel bad. Silas didn't know I rescheduled. I called and spoke to Stacy. Susan waved her hands in frustration. I swear that girl, when she's not freaking out about college applications or running around a soccer field, she's swooning over boys. It's a nice surprise when she actually answers the phones. Henri had no patience for other domestic dramas, at least not when he was off the clock. "That is a lovely scarf, Susan. Is it cashmere?" She touched the fabric around her neck and blushed. "Alpaca." "I thought I saw you coming into the salon last week." She was certainly due. It didn't take the observational skills of a world-class detective to see her ends had split. She blushed even deeper. "Oh, I was in the neighborhood." Now it was Henri's turn to be embarrassed. Sharing an interest with a couples counselor could occasionally be awkward, especially when it's just one half of the couple. Oh, now he got it. "Your secret is safe with me."
She's cheating? I really thought she was cheating on him. I was going, oh, she saw the article and didn't go inside.
Mm-mm.
Nope. Even funnier.
She went inside the other door.
Whoa, crazy.
Yep.
Funny. Well, what's next on the docket?
"My loneliness ain't killing me no more."
I really hope that your phone notification got caught so that we can all see. Wait, was it your phone notification? What went off?
My phone's downstairs.
Oh no. Was that my computer?
I didn't hear any
That's the
notification.
worst option.
I
That's
don't
the
know.
worst option. It was my computer.
It was also only in your ears. I didn't hear it.
It was my fault. Well, we would have both still heard it. We were both wearing the same headphones. I don't think you were paying attention.
I wasn't paying
Because
attention.
it was while you were talking.
Okay.
I'm gonna shut up.
"So, am I a suspect, Henri?" "Of course not, Rose. It's pronounced rosé, like the wine." Oh, please, Henri thought. He was in Rosé Rucker's house. It was huge, but barely furnished. He preferred to conduct his investigations in the salon, especially given the lack of good seating choices here. His options were either a mesh peacock chair riddled with game controllers and cup holders, or this, a rubber bouncy stability ball. An 86-inch monitor over the fireplace was paused in the middle of some first-person shooter video game, and that was that for the living room. The dining room table was set with only a laptop and some video conference gear. Henri was surprised he couldn't smell a cat. Looking at Rosé, no one would think tech geek. Oh, sure, she wore black turtlenecks, but she absolutely rocked them. Her skin was flawless, if a little wan. She could do more with more sun lamp and less ring lamp, Henri thought. He knew her son graduated from a rival high school a year or two before. He sees everyone's prom photos. But not much else about the Rucker family since moving to Bayville. He'd heard she did something, quote, in tech, whatever that actually meant. Henri waggled his hips to stay upright. "I'm here because you're a fellow victim, and I'm investigating." "Oh, I know all about you," Rosé said. She picked up a wireless keyboard and attacked it. The TV filled with dozens of scanned copies of documents, all with Henri's signature. Most people don't appreciate the paperwork required to be a hairstylist. Beyond the certification and continuing ed credits, there's forms and permits required for all different dyes and straighteners. Responsible stylists insist on liability waivers. Particularly if anything dramatic, radical coloring, severe length changes, permanence, and most file copies with the state. These were all highly confidential and should have been under tight digital lock and key, yet Henri's were up on the wide screen. If she were trying to intimidate him, it worked. Henri was a professional above all else, though, and he wasn't going to let it show. "You've done your homework." She wrinkled her nose and looked toward the living room window. Henri guessed she had anticipated either panic or praise. "Of course, you call out of the blue. Unless house calls are a salon offering? Not that I need help." "Oh, please," Henri repeated to himself. Her long, straight hair was clearly saturated with store-brand products. She probably trimmed it herself. Rosé's nail-bitten finger jabbed at the window. "Why are you grilling me? It's that beehive across the street. Henri glanced even though the shades were pulled. He knew who Rosé meant. On this side of town, there were a lot of people who could fit that description, but this cul-de-sac was ruled by one. Why, asked Henri carefully, would Miss Benson start something like the Beacon? Because she's a gossipy bimbo, Rose yelled. That is true, Henri thought, but he said, but that's not enough to... She cut him off. She's the meanest of the mean girls. Also true, Henri conceded to himself. To Rosé, though, he sounded skeptical. A website, though? I'm not saying that a homewrecker's smart enough to mastermind, but supplying pictures... Henri let the homewrecker comment go. Tell me about the pictures, Rosé. Her bravado crumbled, and she retreated into herself. Henri understood. If it had been sex shots, that's a storm anyone could weather these days. These were worse. Fat photos. Henri didn't want to shame anyone. Well, of course he did, but only on his terms. But he understood how it felt to be fundamentally unhappy with your appearance, and what it took to change that. I mean, his entire business model was built on that premise, albeit superficially, but he also knew it at a gut level. And once someone goes through the metamorphosis that Rosé Rucker did, only to have the evidence of the past life presented as a means of mockery, he spoke softly. You should be proud of those. It speaks to your reinvention. Well, don't I get a say on what I decide to share? I moved here to start over, not for those bad dye jobs across the street to judge me. Everyone in this stupid town... Ugh! I didn't eat cut fruit or salad for a year post-divorce just to be bullied by my past. Henri decided it was her anger speaking and ignored the bad dye job comment, and it sure wasn't the time to warn her of Kale's dangers. After those photos dropped, I couldn't go anywhere without people looking at me funny, making stomping sounds with every step, mooing, you name it. Instead of making me relive my shame, you should get the chief to arrest Sister Silicone. You know she even prank called me? Like I don't know how to trace unknown caller. Henri wondered what he should be writing down. He asked, how did she even get these photos? Rosé absently tapped at her keyboard. Whatever she typed didn't appear on screen. Who knows? When someone is that miserable and full of self-loathing, they'll do anything to hurt the people around them. Henri tried calming her down, but like all tech people, Rosé Rucker was impervious to personal charm. He left her his card and a gift certificate. Henri had 4 more missed calls from Hope. Driving into town, he dialed her back. She answered abruptly. So you're still seeing Dr. Samuelson? He was ready. You're still going into the city for keratin. Touché, mon ami. How goes the investigation? Henri summarized his visit. Hope jumped in before he finished. I bet her ex-husband put those pictures online. Why would he do that? Show off his golf buddies. Like, look at the bullet I dodged. Henri didn't buy it. I texted the chief already. See if she can somehow trace the metadata on the pictures. Henri made a mental note to text Chief Bendix and see if she could trace the metadata. Hope snorted. Do you trust the chief? I do. Why? Oh, Hope didn't hesitate. She has access to all sorts of classified information, and it's not like she's even investigating. Well, I think she's taking all this seriously, Henri said. She's a fierce one. Henri didn't know why he felt he had to defend the chief. Brotherhood of the Badge, probably. Honestly, if it's a race between us, I'd bet on Chief Bendix.
Honor between the badge. That's funny. That's funny. Also, dear listeners, you don't get to behold the artistry that is the page of which these words lay upon, because at the page break, instead of a ... it's 3 little scissors. Get it? Because Henri is a baba.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. I look over and it's just, the artistry blows me away. Anyway, that's what I wanted to tell you guys about during this little breaky break. I gotta find a new chord progression. Let's do it.
A friendly competition. What do you mean the poker game is canceled? Henri fogged the glass door to City Hall, looking for movement inside. He wasn't sure if he expected to see Chief Bendix in there or not. Not 10 minutes earlier, a flash edition of Beacon hit everyone's notifications. Underprotected, screamed the headline. The article alleged that the chief was just as corrupt as her predecessor, which Henri suspected was impossible, and that she'd been fired for gross misconduct. It's generally true that municipal personnel decisions are supervised by a town's hairdresser, and Bayville was no exception. Henri had vetted the chief's references and knew she was well-regarded in her previous posts. The only, quote, true fact published was accusations of donut theft. And even that was pretty innocent. Who among us hasn't noshed on pastry from Max's base goods aisle while standing around chit-chatting? Henri was joined on the porch by Myra Butterwick, Bayville's most revered citizen. She'd been the town librarian as long as anyone could remember and taught piano to countless boys and girls over the years. She wiped her nose. It was chilly out, snow was in the air, and tucked the tissue into her sleeve. She offered Henri a caramel from her pocket. The amount of fuzz he had to pick off, he suspected it was older than he was. People are afraid, Henri, Mrs. Butterwick said. That's not exactly how she phrased it. Away from her students, her language was saltier than a glider's margarita on Taco Tuesday. Henri ran his fingers through his hair. Even in the cold, he couldn't risk hat head. The poker game is a safe place. People can't think the Beacon's leaks are coming from us. Mrs. Butterwick opened a piece of rolling paper and shook some loose tobacco into its crease. What can I say? They're chicken. She actually described their cowardice with an anatomically specificity that turned Henri's ears red. It's all these newcomers. No one knows the rules anymore. Henri...
Get it? Chicken?
Yeah.
That's funny. I hope she does cat next.
Henri shared what Rosé Tucker said about Mercedes Benson. The old lady hooted in delight. Oh, it could be her. She's the nastiest of the nasties, mean as sin. It's all that paraphrasing of what Mrs. Butterwick actually said. She and her biddies are always throwing wine in each other's faces, smearing makeup and reputations. You know it's true. That woman has never had a nice word to say about anyone. Yeah, I believe it. Henri was surprised to see her turn against a former protege and said so. She also shared that Rosé didn't think Mercedes was savvy enough to pull off the Beacon. I shouldn't be telling you this, Henri, but you should see all the computer books she checks out of the library. Self-publishing, web programming, you name it. Mrs. Butterwick laughed so hard she started coughing. Those magic words, I shouldn't be telling you this, were the surest way to get Henri's attention. At least you've been spared, he offered. Son, if they ever got into my pass, whoo boy. It took all of Henri's internal strength, thank you, conscious Pilates, not to ask a follow-up. Instead, he said, Bayville would never turn on you. She shook her head. It doesn't take much for a town to turn. I wonder if whoever is whipping up these mobs even knows what they're doing. Which is worse, Henri wondered, if it's intentional or incidental. Mrs. Butterwick sighed. I don't know. Hope clomped up the frozen path to join them. You guys talking about the case? Mrs. Butterwick offered up more caramels. When the old lady wasn't looking, Hope flicked hers into the bushes. You're a cute pair, Mrs. Butterwick said. Sort of. How did you become friends? We went to school together, Henri answered. She picked a loose speck of tobacco off her tongue. But you went to beauty school, and she went to dental school. It's practically the same thing. Hope's eyebrows arched, clearly baffled by the confusion. Henri added, "It is the same job if you think about it. You have to make appointments 6 weeks in advance. You know you should go more often, but you just don't," Hope said. Henri nodded. "You get comfy in a vinyl recliner with a big plastic blanket strapped across your chest. You're offered coffee and tea, which doesn't make sense because there's no opportunity to drink it," Hope threw in. "But it's where all the best gossip is heard. It should be covered by your insurance, and it's not." Henri firmly believed this. "Both of us improves clients' general well-being and appearance." Hope added, "We divvy up everything above the neck." Mrs. Butterwick had one question. "What about eye doctors? That's above the neck." Henri and Hope both laughed. "Honey," Henri put his hand on Mrs. Butterwick's shoulder, "optometrists are absolutely cuckoo." The piano teacher stubbed out her cigarette and waved away the smoke. "Whatever. You just be sure to talk to that Mercedes woman. She's the one."
By the way, so far my favorite line is, "If it weren't for false modesty, I'd have none at all." Oh my gosh. That should be, oh my gosh, that is the song of the century. Every youthful man out there is like, "That's me. That's me, fellas." Not just men, but still, it was funnier to say.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a great quote. I think I should do that every episode now. I should go quote halfway through. I say this is the quote of the episode, even though I haven't heard it all.
Yeah?
Yeah. New thing I'm going to forget about next time we record.
I'll try to remind you.
It's funnier to forget. Well, dear listeners, on the next episode, tell me if I forgot or not. Leave it in, I don't know, come harass me on our Instagram, which you heard at the beginning of this episode, and if you don't remember, go back and listen to it again. It's
At Mysteries to Die For.
At Mysteries to Die For, right? It's the one that's fully spelled out.
Yep.
I'll shut up now.
And I hear people talk. Well, speak of the devil. Henri was certain he'd locked the salon doors when he left for lunch, but here, lounging in the reception area, sat 3 of the realest housewives of Bayville, all sipping hard seltzers. Their stiletto acrylic nails tweezing plastic straws to keep their plumped and painted lips away from the aluminum, and flinging dirt as well as any landscaping crew. And, perched in Henri's salon chair, was none other than the doyen of dish, Mercedes Benson. She closed her laptop and air-kissed Henri with the fakest of smiles. "Saturday before Thanksgiving. I thought for certain you'd be busier." Henri winced. "I've had some cancellations." Mercedes picked at the imaginary debris on her white jeans, bracelets bangling in the movement. The stories. "You wouldn't know anything about that," Henri snarked, leading her to the shampoo sink. "Well, what's that supposed to mean?" Henri eased her head back and tested the water temperature before rinsing. He spoke softly so her friends couldn't eavesdrop. "People are talking, Mercedes." "I'm many things, Henri, but I am not a gossip." "That's not what I've heard." He gently massaged her scalp. More ruthless fact-finders would waterboard the truth out of a suspect, but that wasn't his style, and violated his strict do-no-harm ethos. "Look, Henri, you and me, we're just talking." "You've made your fair share of enemies around town," Henri said. "Surely you're not judging me." Henri tried to sound encouraging. "Maybe you took things too far. You can still walk it back." "Any actual clues?" "If I tell her what I know," Henri thought, "maybe she'll just stop." He said, "You certainly have motive. You've been angry with both the mayor and Principal Tibbin since you were thrown out of the July 4th parade." "That bikini was patriotic." She said that loud enough to wind up her friends. Henri looked back at Mercedes' posse, helping themselves to every sample bottle on display. "The new chief has warned you girls more than once about public drinking." "Wine coolers, Henri," Kitty Carlson shrieked. Courtney High Street joined in. "What are we supposed to do, not hydrate? And who is that Chief Bendix in her cargo pants and Doc Martens telling us how to behave? They all tittered and tee-heed, working through an agenda that alternated between snippy and superfluous. With all the air in their heads, they were a few ribbons short of a balloon bouquet. Henri leaned down to Mercedes. "Rosé Rucker is convinced you slept with her husband." "What?" She banged her head on the faucet. "And that's why you posted the fat pictures." "You know I haven't been on a date with a man in years," she hissed. "Well, who said anything about dating?" "Look, Henri, you know me better than anyone. You're one of my dearest friends." Henri sighed to himself. It's called transference. He learned that in hair school. Occupational hazard. By being such good listeners, stylists become trusted confidants and are soon mistaken as genuine friends. To their clients, no matter how many times you say, "It's business, not personal," they don't listen. In Mercedes Benson's case, though, he did genuinely like her once he overlooked some of the rougher spots of her personality and that particular mix of coral and tangerine foundation she applied. "She called you a homewrecker," Henri said. Mercedes snorted. If there was anything worse than an ugly cry, Henri thought, it was an ugly laugh. "Oh, Henri, she told me they had already... Look, I didn't even know her before she moved in." "I'm not following, Mercedes." She squirmed, clearly at a loss for words when gossip was self-inflicted. "I think you may have jumped to the wrong conclusion when Rosé made that crack." Henri tried to avoid jumping anywhere, even on leg day. Mercedes continued, "So she thinks I created that website for revenge? Like I was the jilted one? Did you know I tried to call her? After everything I'd been through, I thought maybe I could still offer her... Look, if I'm publishing the Beacon, why go after the quarterback? Did I sleep with him too? What about Max and his fruits?" Henri didn't answer. "Henri, you know all my secrets." "I thought I did," he said. "Why would I attack the lady dentist? You're jealous of our friendship?" Out loud, Henri heard how ridiculous that sounded. He tried to get back on track. "You're always online, and the computer books you've been taking out of the library." "Oh, please." Mercedes stood and marched to her laptop. Henri mentally counted down the seconds until her album and conditioner would need to be rinsed, and started to worry while the computer booted up. Finally, she spun it to face him. He squinted to read the headline. "Of Poison Trees and Pilgrimage, the Whispered Resentments of Blake and Byron." He looked at Mercedes, confused. She hit a few keys and brought up what looked like an online newspaper. "I've been writing advice columns, okay? I'm an influencer." Henri shook his head. "Aren't we all?" He took a closer look on screen. "You're Seeking Amy? Where style meets ethics meets food safety," they shouted together. Mercedes beamed. "That's me." "That doesn't make you less suspicious, you know," Henri cautioned. "It's still odd that the Beacon has left you, of all people, alone." "Maybe there's no dirt on me." Henri damn near sprained his eyebrow at that. Now he wondered if he'd gone too far. He'd hoped to crack her, not break her. The tears behind her color-correcting lenses were genuine. "You know who hasn't been written about? Who vowed revenge on town?" Mercedes sat back and lowered her head under the faucet in the nick of time. "I don't like to repeat gossip, so I'm only going to say this once. Remember Roger Aringa?"
I don't, for the record.
You shouldn't, for the record. It's the first time his name's been said.
Really? I could have sworn that I was supposed to know that. It sounds like something that Mr. Binney expects me to previously know.
Nope. You're good. You haven't forgotten anything.
Damn.
I realize I've heard it all before. Who's Roger Aringa? Hope had decided to come along for Henri's day trip. It took some doing for Henri to track him down. Maybe if he had the hacking skills of Rose Rucker, he would have found the former resident sooner. Instead, he spent his Saturday afternoon rolling the phones, talking to real estate agents, off-duty small-town bankers, and eventually had to flash his hairstylist certificate at the State Emergency After Hours business office to get answers. Roger Aringa, he told his friend, is ground zero of Bayville gossip. The mere mention of his name at the salon yesterday kept the women chattering for an hour. Kitty was convinced the former high school teacher had run off with one of his students' mothers. Courtney was positive it was a different student's father. Kathy insisted he'd run off with an actual student. Mercedes claims she had heard from her friend, whose sister's the flight attendant, had been told by her coworker that her boyfriend had seen Roger Aringa in California leading some sort of sex cult. Henri now knew the truth, which was decidedly less spicy. One thing everyone agrees on, Henri continued, is that he left town under a cloud of shame. Roger had stripped down to his underwear at a pep rally, grabbed a megaphone, and swore his revenge on an unnamed cabal. He said he'd expose everyone's lies right before he poured a tub of Gatorade over himself, mooning the principal, and disappeared. Wasn't he also the advisor to the student news website? Hope asked. That's suspicious. Henri said, I thought you hadn't heard of him. Well, once you started, he sounded familiar, Hope answered a little too quickly. Sunday morning is a difficult time to conduct an investigation. Half the town is in church fellowship halls eating boxed powdered donuts and sipping weak coffee out of styrofoam cups, and the other half is at the bar nursing whatever sands the edge off of the night before. Luckily, Henri's intel was solid, and Roger was exactly where he should be. So you found me. The bloodshot eyes, scraggly blonde beard, and name tag read Patrick might throw off an amateur, but not Henri. Long time no see. Henri held out his hand. No reason he shouldn't be friendly. The three of them sat at a wobbly craft table in an empty shop. Hope, glaring at the lopsided bowl of stale Halloween candy, looked decidedly uncomfortable. Henri wondered if it was because she was finally facing the man who brought her so much grief. He felt the telltale sweat on the back of his neck, and it wasn't because he was staring at cross-grained edges of the suspect's mall haircut. Honestly, would it be so bad if he patted dry and used just a little pomade on his temples? I'm sorry it's so warm in here, Roger interrupted. I had to fire up the kilns earlier. It's our busiest time of year. Everyone needs a last-minute hostess gift when they go over the river and through the woods, and what grandma doesn't love a homemade vase? Apparently, once Roger Aringa publicly and repeatedly swore revenge on the good people of Bayville, he moved exactly one town away and opened the Get Fired Pottery Cafe. So you're not in California, Henri observed. Roger laughed. That's what they're saying? Last I heard, I was holed up in Oregon, leading some kind of anti-sex cult, whatever that is. I can't believe people still talk about me. Well, your exit was pretty spectacular. Henri tried sipping from his coffee mug, but the rim was so unevenly glazed it was basically a dribble cup. So, is this a wellness check? Roger seemed amiable enough. Or are you investigating everyone who ganged up on me? There's a lot of bullies in that town. Are you familiar with the Beacon website? Henri asked. No, I don't know what. Roger's eyes flickered across the room to the laptop sitting on the table cluttered with misshapen paperweights and barely symmetrical bowls. Henri stood. Gotcha, he thought. You wouldn't mind if I take a peek at your browser history. Roger blushed. You don't have the right. I'm a licensed beautician. You crossed county lines. Your certificate's no good here. Henri didn't know if that was true or not. Still, he didn't want to risk it. Weren't you the soccer coach? Hope interrupted, excited. Assistant coach, Roger turned back to Henri. As a, quote, licensed beautician, surely critical thinking and logic were building blocks of your education? You studied different diagnosis in hair school, so stop looking at me. I'm yesterday's story. What's changed in town? What's new? Who benefits? Beacon posts aren't random. Something had to trigger them, right? He collected everyone's mugs and stood. I really do have work to do. Another day, another drama. In the car, Hope was practically drunk from her detecting experience. We had that guy dead to rights. Boy, I bet if you get a warrant, you could prove he's the bully in chief. Henri was uncharacteristically silent. Henri, you're uncharacteristically silent. He stared ahead. Just thinking about something Roger said. Hot diggity, Hope bounced. Everything he said was gold. Let's have it. Henri spoke carefully. Remember when Seth Rogen showed up out of nowhere and was instantly Dawson's best friend? You're talking about TV? Hope said. Wait, Roger wasn't selling weed, was he? The week before, nobody heard of the guy. And the week after, no one brings him up. Okay? Or when the mom from the Partridge Family was Angela Lansbury College roommate. Only we'd never heard of her before. And by the end of the episode, we found out she's a jealous killer. Like John Ritter on Buffy for sure. Then it dawned on Hope. Wait, am I Shirley Jones in this situation? Henri nodded, sad. You're my best friend, but you've been AWOL for years. You rock up out of the blue and stick to me like microbead extensions. You're always checking on my investigation. Look, you're even on a ride-along. Afraid I'll get too close to the truth? Hope looked dumbfounded. Because you're my... Okay, I'll play along. Explain it to me like I'm an optician. Will you come to poker night one time, and the next week the Beacon posts that the mayor cheats? Henri took both hands off the wheel to make air quotes. You have a beef with Max about free bananas. Boom, a story about his food. Literally, minutes after you and I talked about Chief Bendix's investigation, her hit job. You claim not to know anything about the content, but you know everything. Tears formed in Hope's eyes. I asked you to investigate. You didn't seem like you meant it. She cut him off. Okay then, Jessica Fletcher. Why would I attack you? Why would I attack me? Well, to draw attention away from yourself. He spoke matter-of-factly, as if everything was obvious. Nearly every victim is a suspect and vice versa. But you're the only one whose business recovered. The Beacon prints your prison pictures. Everyone's so upset. But no, here's Henri to the rescue. I'll tell the ladies about your internship providing dental care to inmates. Even bad guys need good teeth. And everyone goes gaga. All the charity chasers in town flock to your practice. The rest of the drive was as frosty as the Miata's windshield. Henri pulled up to the curb outside Hope's office. She sat for a moment, sucked up a snot bubble, and then turned to Henri. You really believed I wasn't sticking around? Did you ever think I was interested in your investigation because I was interested in you? That's what I wanted, to spend time with you. Because I wanted to spend time with you. Actually, no. That thought never entered Henri's mind.
Oh my God, this story is so well written. I just keep thinking of quotes that I have to remember and then forgetting them. It's like, I was speechless. Henri, you're speechless. I love that.
It's so hard to not laugh when I read the second one. And I've read this multiple times and it always makes me laugh.
Oh, I love it. Perfect. We're getting close. We're getting close.
Yep. Last chapter before the deliberation.
Just had to rock up this friendship. So sad.
And poor Hope.
Poor Hope. I hope she keeps her hope. I'm not as funny as Robert, but you know what? Maybe one day. That's my dream. My dream is to be as funny and as good at television as Robert is. Let's go. Television? Yes, I did mean television, but I didn't explain that at all. Robert works in television.
We'll get to it at the end when
Yes.
we introduce everybody to our friend.
Robert.
All right.
I'll stop.
All eyes on the center of the ring. The Chamber of Commerce's post-parade potluck is usually a raucous shindig. Everyone drinks a little too much apple cider sangria, eats too many deviled eggs, and Henri makes that one "let your hair down" joke at least a dozen times. This year, though, the mood in the rec center was far from thankful. A lot of the regulars didn't even bother, which meant Max's sweet potatoes were nowhere to be found, and Glider hadn't made his legendary pumpkin cranberry IPA. I haven't been this bored since my honeymoon, the mayor's wife, she'd been sneaking a flask of special gravy all afternoon, cracked, but nobody laughed. "This is just shameful," Mrs. Butterworth clucked. Well, not exactly what she said. The general idea, you understand. Chief Bendix tried to lighten the mood by bringing a box of maple bacon donuts wrapped in a big evidence tape bow. Nobody was amused by that either. Tough crowd. Like Henri had said earlier, victims were suspects and suspects were victims. Folks seemed afraid that anything said would be used against them in the next Beacon's edition. The chief cornered Henri. "I hope you're getting farther with your investigation than I am." The so-called party was quiet enough that people could hear their conversation. "It's all still murky," Henri said to the widespread groaning. "The people with motive don't seem to have the means, and vice versa." "How do we know it's not you, Henri?" Marnie, the owner of That Darn Cat Boutique, squealed. "You know everyone's secrets, and you're a terrible gossip." Henri was gobsmacked. For one thing, he was a fabulous gossip. Marnie's comment was all it took to get the other chamber members to fire up the town bullying machine and take aim at the man working to shut it down. Henri held up his hands, not in surrender, but to halt the brewing hatred. "Every year, I go to state licensing and reaffirm the vows of Vidal Sassoon." He pointed to Marley, trying to ignore her. "Let's talk per-key sweatshirt. If I were trying something like the Beacon, I would be decertified. Besides," he thought, "why would I give it away for free online?" "I'm telling you, it's those Botox broads, Mercedes Benson and friends." Annie from Darn These Socks shop shouted. "They're so judgy about everybody and everything." Mercedes wasn't there to defend herself, so the tide curled away from Henri and was now swelling into a wave of rage towards the absentee women. "It's the weird lady hacker," Will the mechanic yelled. "Let's go get her." "It's that dentist," somebody else replied. "I bet it's the chief," Pastor Fred shouted. "What about you, Father? You hear everyone's confession," Principal Tibbet added. Pastor Fred tried explaining that that's not how Episcopals worked when the head girls' soccer coach said, "We all know it's that sex creep from the school paper." The party was finally coming to life, if not exactly oozing gratitude. The mayor stood in front of Henri and flapped his arms for quiet. "Let's calm down and jump ahead to the ceremonial snapping of the wishbone." "Seconded," shouted Mrs. Butterwick. Basically. Some folks raised their wishbone-shaped cookies and waited for the mayor to say something vaguely inspirational. Stan Kegel, the psychiatrist, wasn't having it. "Can it, old man," he yelled. "Let the barber lay out his case." Henri was the forgiving sort, sometimes. But being called a barber in front of this mob, only a few pitchforks away from a riot? He tried snapped off a bite of a cookie, harder than extra hold styling gel. The bakery had closed in the wake of the Beacon's marzipan expose, so they were making do with leftover pastries from years gone by. The mayor pushed ahead with his toast and bit into a cookie, instantly wincing in pain. He spit his out, too, along with half of his teeth. My God, shouted Mrs. Butterwick. Only not really. Even Quinn, the metal shop teacher, blushed. Is it there? The mayor lisped. This is Samuelson, the dentist? Some laughed, wondering if it was a bit. Not the mayor's wife. She broke out in a full-throated roar. Are you all right? Henri fired up his phone's flashlight and inspected the mayor's jaw. Someone to call Samuelson. Find Samuelson. The wife tried to calm herself down. I'm sorry. Just, you had all that work done. Now's not the time, little Pum. You drooled all day. They kept him under observation. She turned to her table mates. We kept making him repeat everything we could think of. He couldn't say software sales or sanctions or even Christmas season. He couldn't say anything. As embarrassed as the mayor was, he had to admit his wife had lifted the mood of the room. Henri waved his hands for quiet. Something had just clicked. Where was this? Suffering succotash, I told you, the mayor's wife said. That's it. He threw his scarf over his shoulder and marched to the door. It's time to stop the press. There's a lot of THs in a row.
I feel like Henri knows something I don't because I ain't got a clue.
Well, here's the deliberation. So Henri has a personal investment in untangling the roots of this ongoing hatchet job and needs our help to protect his state license.
He's been wronged.
Here are the people Henri knows to have dished or drank the tea.
Yeah.
Verity Bendix, the new chief in town.
Very.
Hope Clementi, Henry's high school friend and dentist. Silas Samuelson, DDS, longtime Bayville dentist.
And was he a victim?
Samuelson?
Yeah.
No.
Who was he?
He's Henri's dentist, but remember his daughter was the soccer player.
Yeah, that's right.
Susan Samuelson, Silas's wife and part-time receptionist.
Yeah.
Rosé Rucker, new to Bayville, works in a tech field.
Yeah.
Mercedes Benson, leader of the Mean Girls.
Yeah.
And Roger Aringa, disgraced high school teacher.
Okie smoky.
Okay, so here are the stories and motives that Henri has trimmed out.
Yes, in death.
Bayville's newest and only digital news source, BayvilleBeacon.com, is more about bullying and shaming and not really about news. People throughout Bayville have been targeted I have a typo in there. Okay, the people of Bayville have been targeted and it's messing up their lives.
Yeah.
The first victim was the high school football captain and his homecoming queen girlfriend. The Wedge was the captain of the girls' soccer team. The town turned against the soccer captain for breaking up Jack and Diane. There is no accusation of any of the teens could be running the website.
And was the queen Samuelson's daughter?
No, Samuelson's daughter was a girl on the soccer team who was promoted when the captain quit the soccer team.
Oh.
That's why he was saying that his daughter's finally coming into her athletic prowess.
Interesting.
Hope Clementi was the second victim, accused of falsifying her credentials. Henri is now suspicious of his friend because her recent return to suspicious, and now much attention she was paying to his investigation, and how much she seemed to know about others.
Interesting.
Plus, the other bullying articles happened after Hope had interactions with the victims.
Yes.
Maybe it's just to throw suspicion off herself, but Hope almost makes a compelling case that Chief Bendix is behind BayvilleBeacon.com.
Indeed.
The chief also showed up just about the right time, and she had access to both salacious sass about her fellow townspeople and seems to be dragging her boot heels in the investigation.
Yeah, I don't know. She just seems a little lazy to me.
Rosé Rucker was fat-shamed with before photos. She is newer to town and works in some vague tech field. Her home doesn't have furniture, but it does have tech.
Like every good tech officer?
Mercedes Benson is Bayville's nasty gossip. She reportedly has been taking out books on websites and other texts. She admits to writing the advice column, Seeking Amy. Henri wonders if she has another writing side hustle.
Great name. Great name.
The mayor is accused of cheating at cards, which he does, and everyone knows, but doesn't seem to be a suspect for running the website.
Ah.
Sam, the organic grocer, was called for selling mainstream veggies. Hope doesn't like Max because she doesn't get free bananas.
I don't think he did it.
Psychiatrist Stan Kegel was called a vampire. Henri Salon shares an entrance with the doctor's office. He saw Susan Samuelson going in the prior week.
And that's the wife?
That's the dentist's wife, Susan
She's
Samuelson.
who I believe did it.
Roger Aringa left Bayville years before. Rumors have always circulated about where he is. Henri finds him just one town over, running a small art studio. He laughs at the idea that people still talk about him.
What a okay guy.
Silas Samuelson, which is the dentist, has a bone to pick with Henri for not canceling a missed appointment, which Henri did cancel, and for the kale rotting between his teeth. Susan Samuelson complains about her husband constantly chasing the computer passwords and her daughter Stacy being too busy with college sports and boys to answer the phones properly. So, Jack, who should Henri out as Bayville's cyberbully?
Susan. It's Susan.
You're going with Susan?
I'm going hard Susan. So let's eliminate them.
Okay. So I shouldn't color her green yet?
Well, you can color her green. She's my butter on a roll, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Call me butter. Anyway, I don't know why I'm saying I'm on a roll. I got the last episode wrong. I'm actually starting fresh.
Okay, so there's 7 suspects. You're leaning towards Susan.
Yeah. So, okay, let's start with Chief V.
Yeah.
Just not in her character, man. Not the right vibe. That's what I'm doing for this episode, by the way, guys. I'm going off vibes, not evidence. Like a real detective.
Okay. Colored her red.
Because not that she doesn't have like the access to all of the information, I guess, but like that's a weird thing for her to do in her position. Like if she really didn't like all of those things, there's a better way for her in her power to have done that than to be as weird. I don't know, be a corrupt officer. Don't start a gossip page. It just doesn't seem in her character.
Yeah.
So, no to her.
Okay. We have Hope Clementi.
Hope it didn't do it.
Okay.
It's that simple. Hope's such a good gal. What a good friend. Good friendo.
Okay, so you have the other dentist in town, the long-term dentist, Silas Samuelson.
That man does not know how to use the internet. I'm sure he does, but no, he doesn't. He's not the guy. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
Also, he has no reason to have targeted half the people that has been targeted, but only half. So I'll get to Susan.
Okay. So then Rose Rucker.
Again, Rose's new to town, has no reason to target half the people that have been targeted. It's a lot of why would this person have been targeted? Why would Rose target the mayor? There's no reason. And there's also no logical way that she would have gotten that information, you know? So it can't be her. That part doesn't make sense to me.
How about Mercedes Benson?
Again, well, honestly, as terrible as a person as those people are, like the high school stuff.
Yeah.
Well, if it is her, it's really creepy to be going after. Well, most of these people actually, it's really creepy to be going after a high schooler. So you have to ask yourself,
all these adults,
who is going to go after a high school prom king and queen? Who is going to be petty enough to do that? It's not going to be Silas the father. That's a weird thing to do. You know who it's going to be? It's going to be the mother.
And Roger Aringa. So I guess you.
Yeah, it's not Roger.
Okay.
He's living his best life in a town over. That man's innocent. But we can talk about, is the daughter a suspect?
No, none of the kids are a suspect.
Okay, well, honestly, in my opinion, Mr. Robert, you should have made the daughter a suspect. I feel like she's got great. I feel like in my mind, I was going, well, it's either Susan or the daughter, and now the daughter's not a suspect, so I know it's not her.
The kids are not suspects.
Yeah, because Specifically with Susan is she would go after the person to get her daughter the better role in football. Um, she would go after various people because she would have that information the same way a dentist would. It's even discussed in here that the dentist is very similar to the hairstylist in gossip, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So he will get the same amount of information. And if she can translate as well, she's right in the other room. She can be privy to all that information as well. It could be like a duo. It could be the two of them. If it is two people, it's the Samsons. Is that their name? Samuelsons. Sorry, I got Samson from last episode mixed up. It would be the Samuelsons, but if it's just one person, it's the wife. Yeah, that's my pick.
Okay, detectives, lodge your guess. Before
Mm-hmm.
we go to the big reveal, I will say that our anthology for this half of the season is out now. Anything but murder, heists, and hooligans. Add it to your Christmas and Hanukkah list. Think of a mystery lover in your family and then give them the gift of puzzle solving.
You know, listeners, I wonder, do sometimes you guys prefer me not do the deliberation? Because, like, I do kind of spoil it if I get it right, don't I?
No answer. Crickets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot you can't respond. Go harass us on our internet page. If you believe that I am spoiling it by doing my deliberation, let me know. I'm not gonna stop doing it. I just want to know your opinion. You know.
All right, let's go into our big reveal.
Yeah.
Oops, I did it again. Henri was surprised how minty a dental practice smelled after hours. He pushed his way past the examination room into the office. Look, I don't want to make too big of a deal out of this, but it's time you stopped, he said to the lone figure polishing dental picks and miniature handheld mirrors. How did you figure it out? The mayor didn't go woke. You botched his bridge work. And his wife sat there teasing him because he literally couldn't say Christmas. It's not libel if it's true. Silas Samuelson aimed a 3-way water syringe gun, spritzed a stream in Henry's eyes, and broke for the door. Chief Bendix blocked his exit. Henri dabbed his face with a paper bib and approached Dr. Samuelson. Was it just professional jealousy? Is that why you went after my friend? I was the only dentist in town for years. She thinks she can waltz in and steal my patients. The chief grabbed Silas' wrist to hold him in place. Why the quarterback? You are a fool, Samuelson sneered. It wasn't about him. I made that silly girl quit the soccer team, and guess who became the next new captain? Dad? They heard a gasp from the x-ray room. Stacy Samuelson, his daughter, stepped out. You mean I didn't earn my spot? The chief shook him. And you wanted to discredit me. I get it. But why the psychiatrist? I can answer that, Henri said. Come on out, Susan. The dentist's wife joined them, face as pale as the clown painting on the wall. Henri gestured toward her neck. Would you like to take off your scarf for your shampoo today? She slowly removed the wool wrap, revealing the remains of a big red hickey. The chief snorted. A vampire. Susan lunged at her husband. The only way he would pay attention to me was if I had an affair with our marriage counselor. Dr. Samuelson looked tired. I thought if I humiliated him. Henri pulled her back. You were having an affair with Rose Rucker, Silas? Did she break it off? Samuelson sighed. I used to play golf with her ex. He stopped coming to the club after the divorce because he couldn't bear to see her so happy. That's happy? Henri thought. Why me? Samuelson said. You canceled an appointment with less than 24 hours' notice. What did you expect? Henri was still working things out. I didn't. But what about Max? What have you got against that poor guy? I asked him nicely, so many times. Stop selling poppy bagels. But no. You know how many seeds I have to pick out of people's teeth? It's disgusting. You're all disgusting. You sit there and say, oh, sure, I floss. Bullshit. You don't floss. You all lie. And these little circles, is it really too much to ask? Brush in little circles. Twice a day, for 2 minutes. You're all trench-mouthed, onion-belching liars, blasting me with your drooling caverns of putrefaction and decay. But you know that you're toxic. Henri just shook his head. You hurt good people. You brought out the worst in our community. I didn't bring out anything that wasn't already there, Samuelson spat. If anything, I was a disclosure tablet for society. The chief's notifications beeped. Henri blanched. She shook her head. It looks like there's some trouble down at the factory. Sparky's on it. Henri pushed toward the door. Where are you off to now? The chief asked. This man tried to destroy hope. I owe my friend an apology. And someone needs to get the mayor to a dentist. The end. Dude, you stereotyped.
That's 2 in a row.
You assumed it was the mother.
2 in a row
Now,
I got wrong.
Granted, there are plenty of snowplow moms, but there's snowplow dads too.
I guess I made a stupid decision.
What did you make a stupid decision on?
I was like, I bet she's cheating on him. I knew she was cheating on him, and I went, that's why she hates him. Wait, that's a stupid thing to say. I bet he's cheating on Silas, thus she would make a slander article against the guy she's cheating on with. Thinking about it now, that was silly.
Oh,
That
you're
makes
right.
no sense.
That didn't make
Why
sense.
would she have done that?
No. Unless he broke up with her, which he didn't.
Yeah, no, I totally, in my defense, I don't think I stereotyped her. I think I stereotyped him. I was like, that old dude? No, he couldn't do that.
I didn't get why he was being called a vampire, but then we didn't know about the hickey on her neck.
We didn't, and I really didn't pay much attention to the vampire part, I suppose, now that you say it. I like the way you said bullshit. That was funny.
I like that whole little rant. You don't floss.
Funny, right?
And little circles. Is it really too much to ask?
Well, and I feel like also...
That was awesome.
We only got a small look into the insults, but I feel like there was some libel in there. Like, he kind of gets away with it at the end.
Well, I mean...
Like, there's nothing you could do because he theoretically didn't commit a crime. He just did gossip. But I feel like he made some stuff up.
Couldn't Hope sue him?
Yeah. Well, I thought the pictures of her in prison were fake.
I did too, but apparently they were
not. And I was like, what?
That threw me too.
So maybe it's not libel. I suppose, honestly, if anyone would get that correct and it not being libel, it would be Robert. He would know most about media law as the author. So I suppose I should have trusted that. Man, I had so much going for me.
Yeah, you
and
just
I
zigged
just
when
left
you should
it
have
all
zagged.
at the doorstep.
So let's learn a little bit about cyberbullying.
Yeah.
So the first known use of the term cyberbullying was in 1998, according to Merriam-Webster. The formal definition is the electronic posting of mean-spirited messages about a person, such as a student, often done anonymously. Research and stories are often focused on children and teens, but it happens to adults too, just as it did to Hope and Henri. From Very Well Mind comes this list of cyberbullying types. We have flaming or roasting, which is using language which insults to solicit an emotional response. Yeah, common in politics. That's my commentary, not from Very Well Mind. Outing, which is sharing personal or embarrassing information, so that was like the fat shaming. Trolling, which is content including comments with the goals of creating division and chaos, which is what happened to Hope and Henri. Name-calling, that says it all. Spreading false rumors. Sending explicit images or messages without the consent of the victim. And cyberstalking, harassing, or physical threats, which is repeatedly targeting the same person/people. Cyberbullying causes real injury to victims. From mental health incidents to PTSD to suicidal thoughts, cyberbullies can completely disrupt victims' lives. Sadly, there are too many examples of cyberbullying being linked to victims' suicides, including Megan Meyer, 13, Tyrone Unsworth, 13, Amanda Todd, 15. You may have to finish reading this.
It's the gross part is these are majority women. Let's go. Hold on. Megan Meyer, 13. Tyrone Unsworth, 13. Amanda Todd, 15. Choi Ji Reek, a.k.a. Sully, 15. Phoebe Price, 16. Ratea Parsons, 17. Tyler Clementi, 9. Why'd you write so many?
Because
Tyler Clementi, 19. Hannah Kimura, 22. And Kelly Frazier, 26. Dude, you got to stop writing sad stuff into these. You know, when you
yes, I'm crying.
Here's the thing. You shouldn't write characters if you can't do the accents for them and you can't write for them. Just like you shouldn't write information if you can't get through it without bawling. Not that this is bad information to share, or anything like that. I'm just busting your balls.
But it honors the victims, too.
Yeah. It's always very bad, obviously.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services maintains the website stopbullying.gov with resources and support for victims, kids, parents, and teachers. All states require schools to intercede when cyberbullying is reported. Check out stopbullying.gov to recognize the signs of abuse in children and teens. Support for adults can be found from Cyberbullying Research Center at cyberbully.org. While more attention is given to children and teens, adults are just as vulnerable. The Cyberbullying Research Center offers resources, references to laws, research, and advice, including the importance of documenting everything, utilizing the terms for social media, most prohibit harassment, to intervene, and, most importantly, and probably the most difficult to do not retaliate. While it may feel good, it could work against you as you pursue legal or other remedies. Legal coverage may come from other laws, such as menacing, which was the subject of our Halloween episode, Audubon's Ghost. Links are in the show notes for Stop Bullying, Very Well Mind, and cyberbullying.org. And now, let us introduce you to Robert J. Binney. Seattle screenwriter Robert J. Binney has chronicled Henri's adventures previously on Mysteries to Die For. His essays on being the butt of Jimmy Carter's jokes, joyriding with the Salt Lake City Police, finding career advice in the Himalayas, and hanging with Peter Frampton have appeared in the Los Angeles Times, the Kelp Journal, and more. Restoration Software was recently featured in the Level Best Books, the Best Private Eye Stories of 2025. A former titan of industry with movie star good looks, he holds an MBA from Emory University and an MFA from UC Riverside. Find him on his website, www.thirdactmedia.com. Oh, that's pretty funny. I forgot to paste in the end to this. Hold on.
You ready for some freestyling piano?
And I thought I prepped everything. That wraps up this episode of Mysteries to Die For. Support our show by subscribing, telling a mystery lover about us, and giving us a 5-star review. Check out our website, m2d4podcast.com, for links to this season's authors. Mysteries to Die For is hosted by TG Wolff and Jack Wolff. Toxic was written by Robert J. Binney. Music and production are by Jack Wolff. Episode art is by TG Wolff. Join us next week for a toe tag, which is the first chapter from a fresh release in the mystery, crime, or thriller genre, and then come back in 2 weeks for our next original story. Yes, it is everyone's favorite detective, Detective England Conley, in Detective Conley Gets Filmed in 4K.
Oh, I hadn't picked a title yet. I didn't know that was
That might not be the title.
It might not be the title. I didn't like that title very much, so I was going to change it.
And here I was proud for me remembering it.
My bad.
All right, Jack, take us out.